It's Ryan with QLZ. We've got a returning guest in the green room, Tim from Adema, and Tim, guitarist, and now I'm calling you frontman as well because you're pulling double duty for the first time in a few years.
It has been a long time. It's been really good, and it's been good to do it on this tour with Josie that we're going to be on tomorrow when we're in New Berlin. But it's been fun for me to get back up there and sing, and I was saying, it's got a lot of good feedback from the fans, and not too much crap talking online. So it's good. It's been really good.
We were talking a little bit too, like if you're not getting any shit at all, people have either just kind of forgotten about you or they
just don't care. Yeah. I'll take any feedback. That's like that's the old Metallica thing. Back in the day, they used to say like, we either want you to love us or hate us, but do something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
There's some up and coming bands I've talked to, and they get excited when they get that hate mail kind of for the first time. Like a band I've gotten to know pretty well. Good dudes, really good music, and they're like, man, somebody called us like a Wish.com version of Daughtry, and
yeah,
they're like, we're not really upset because we do want the hate mail a little bit because it means that people are paying attention to us. It's kind of like the rite of passage for the new band. So
right. I mean, the first time we had some big stuff was there used to be this show on MTV where you would go on and you would introduce videos when they played videos back in the day. And I remember Good Charlotte was on there one time. We had been on there before, but Good Charlotte was on there, and they were introducing an Adema video, and they kind of gave it to us pretty hardcore. We're like, oh, okay, well, they know who we are, I guess, whatever.
Was it TRL? Was that what it was?
It might have been something like that. I think it was a little bit more quieter. It wasn't, we did the TRL, but it was like a show. They would film you just introducing videos. You know what I mean? So,
okay.
We were like, and we just, we got phone calls. There was no social media back then, but we got phone calls like, Good Charlotte's talking crap about you, dude. And we're like, cool, that's cool, I guess, whatever, yeah. But, been there.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know you guys just played, I obviously want to talk about the show in New Berlin. You and I were talking about Welcome to Rockville a little bit as well, and just the people you got to meet out there, people you got to play with, and that festival just, I mean, you and I have both been at festivals. I've worked festivals. I've been there as a fan. You guys have played plenty during your career, but dude, that just seeing some of the photos, like the crowd, just, I mean, it's fucking huge.
It's amazing. And you mentioned me being a frontman, and that's I played a lot of big shows when I was a frontman back in the day, but nothing like Rockville. I mean, Rockville was amazing. It was like the best run festival. It was just all great bands. We were lucky we played on the same stage with Slipknot, who I always like to reconnect with, and those guys are from Iowa, just across the border there, and so it's always cool just to see Midwestern boys doing stuff. And so that was cool. We played with Taproot and POD and all those guys, and Drowning Pool, all these guys that we toured with back in the day. To reconnect with them was amazing. And then if you think you have an ego before something like that, when they put you on a 40-foot video screen, you're like, oh, okay. This is cool. We don't need to, you kind of can see, it's just was an amazing experience. And I mentioned to you, about meeting Sebastian Bach, and what a great guy that guy was. I went up to him after the show, and normally you don't go up to guys when they just get off the stage, but I was like, I had a feeling that Sebastian's personality, and I was just like, hey man, you were amazing. He's all, nobody ever gets tired of that. And then he took a picture with me, and he asked me what band I was in. He was super nice. So awesome. I've been lucky enough to know the guys in Skid Row for years, especially Dave Sabo, but I never had met Sebastian. So.
Sebastian. Awesome. Is that almost as much fun as playing? As like you said, you get to meet Sebastian for the first time. You get to connect with the guys in Slipknot and Taproot and POD, these bands that you guys have been playing with and have known for 20, 25 years. Is that almost as much fun as playing? You just kind of getting to reconnect and kind of have that family reunion type of atmosphere?
I think, you're absolutely right. It's absolutely just as fun to see those guys, and just, because when you all come up together, especially, you kind of have all the same kind of stories and paths that you've taken. And then, then there's years when you're not playing things like Rockville, and you think, well, maybe we'll never do that again. And then for everybody to come back and be doing it like we are now, it's just awesome to see it. It's just that whole thing. You're going to not to talk shop, but you go to catering and you get to eat lunch with these guys. You haven't seen them forever. It's literally like coming. It's like first day of school. When you go back and you haven't seen everybody all summer. And it's kind of like that.
It's awesome. I know you guys are out right now. You're out with Josie. Again, Josie's been around a long time in this industry. It's you guys, Tantric, who you guys played Springfield, Tantric last year, Trapped, One Day Alive, a band that's from my home state of Ohio as well. And New Berlin tomorrow night. So if you guys want tickets still available, WQLZ.com. You can grab them there. And I know you've actually gone out to Danenberger Family Vineyards and checked it out. And just, again, we talked about this last year too, but just your excitement and how much you get to look forward to basically doing, some hometown type shows.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like I visited my mom a couple months ago, and she picked me up at the Springfield airport, and I was like, let's go check this place out. I've never been out there to New Berlin, and so it was just awesome to see, it's just in the middle of a field. It's, everything I thought it was going to be and more. And then, I've been, like I was saying earlier, all the bands are getting sick of me talking about it because I'm like, we're going to see my mom. We're going to go see, all my friends, that we're going to, it's out in the field. And it's going to be awesome, and so everybody's excited about it too. So, and it's been a great tour so far. And like you said, reconnecting with Josie. Josie was a guy, we played a bunch of radio shows with them back in the day and never toured, but played with them a lot. And so it's just great to see him again and reconnect. We had a lot of fun back then, and we still have fun, but we had a lot of different kind of fun back then for sure.
Just what does it mean to continue to still do this? You guys started 99, 2000, doing it 24 years later, almost 25 years of Adema. Kind of just, the feeling of just still getting to do this and seeing you guys last year, how much you guys still enjoy being on stage and everything else you're doing.
Yeah. I mean, when you first start out, you're definitely, and you still have that attitude of like, it's us against the world and our fans and us against the world and all that stuff, and you just have your head down and you're just kind of like, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? And so when you get to this point, you just are, and you're older, you just start being more grateful for everything and really kind of absorbing every moment and just looking up and, every night, like, I mean, it might sound cliche, but like, we played in Hobart, Indiana last night. You're just sitting there and you're going, we're in Hobart, Indiana. We were just at Rockville. We're in Florida, we did all these things and we get to do all these things still. It's pretty amazing. And we're absolutely just thankful for that. And we'll never take it for granted for sure.
Yeah. Is there like a shock or anything when you play like this massive festival, in Florida, and then you go back, you play like a theater, you play a more intimate show with a lot of people? Does it feel like it's much of a difference, or I guess, just explain to me what the feeling is like to be out there? I mean, obviously, bands love playing shows. It doesn't matter if you're in front of 5 people or, 50,000, but kind of what's it like to go from this, you're outdoors, you're in Florida, you got all the fucking humidity in the world of Florida and the elements. And then, you come and you play a more intimate setting and people are closer and whatnot, like 2 days later.
It is kind of surreal. They are different in a way, but they are really the same. You know what I mean? It's like, it was funny because the next show was definitely way smaller, but it doesn't matter, and we've always said this, another cliche, but you just play for the people that are there. You know what I mean? There's a lot of times bands get caught up in the numbers and who's there and what's going on. And that's just never been our thing, and so, I'm still going to yell, make some noise if it's 50,000 or 50 people, you know what I mean? So I mean, it is a little bit different, but it's mostly the same for sure.
Yeah. Now, has a lot changed for you? Again, you've fronted Adema before. You did it for 6 years. Does a lot change for you now? Being the guitarist, going from the guitarist to being the guitarist and the front man. Does a lot change for you? Does it feel like a big change at all?
It's funny. Last year, when Ryan was still in the band, he went back to his wife was having a baby at the time. So I did 3 or 4 shows, and I hadn't done that in years. And then I thought, oh, okay. The difference between then and now is like, I think I'm getting better at it. I just think I'm getting better at being able to sing the songs, like the people want to hear them, you know what I mean? And then also just better at kind of being a front man, you know what I mean? It's like, when you first start out doing that stuff, you're just kind of, you start thinking about, well, what am I going to say here? Or what am I going to do? You know what I mean? Yeah. And then you start realizing, oh, well, I mean, I think I'm a cool enough dude. I'll just say whatever comes to my head. You know what I mean? Like, like, that's better. That's how I want it to be anyway. I mean, fans are the smartest. I always tell people too that the fans are the smartest people out there. If you're being fake or contrived or scripted, I mean, they're the first people that are going to know. You just can't do it. Yeah, you just got to be yourself, and either hope people like you or, like I said, people hate you. Either one, that's fine. You know what I mean? So.
As long as the people that like you way outnumber than the haters.
I think that's going on. If they paid to come see the show, then more than likely they like you.
That's awesome. I talked to you as well. Like, you don't really have a whole lot of vocal warm-ups. I think Ronnie James Dio was kind of like that. Like Ronnie would just go out and I think just play. I think David Draymond's shared stories about that before, where like, Ronnie just went out there and played. You don't have that. You just kind of go out there and you just let it rip.
No, that's exactly. I mean, and I understand why some singers do that. I think it's more mental than anything else. I've seen guys, that have all these gadgets and stuff and machines and all kinds of stuff. But like I was telling you before, like my warm up is pretty much look at the guys and go, let's play. And that's that's kind of what it is. And so I've just been lucky that way. I don't know if it's just my voice doesn't really get messed up. I don't know what it is, but I just never, there's always somebody around. Like I said, I understand it. There's always somebody around doing the me, all that all day. I'm just not going to do that.
Yeah. It's cool because it gives you different perspective on things. Now, you guys continuing as a 4-piece, is that still kind of the plan going forward?
No, we are. I mean, and this is kind of, I mean, it hasn't been officially announced yet, but and we'll tell the people what label it is, but we got a record deal.
Awesome.
And so we're gonna, after this tour, we're gonna do a new record and have it out. Beginning of next year. We've been trying. That's another thing we've been trying to do for a couple of years. We released a few new songs, but not an album. So we're gonna do an entire album, do that, and then so we're excited about that. You know what I mean? So we're looking forward to, and the point is to, and as I don't know if everybody knows, but everybody in the band is original members. So.
Yeah.
So, we really want it to be just an all-in Adema record where everybody goes, that's Adema. You know what I mean? So
awesome.
we've strayed a little bit over the years because we had different members, but I think now that we're back together, it's going to be back to those days of the real Adema sound.
Okay, and you are on the lead vocals on that record, just to confirm that.
On the new one, I will be. Yeah.
Awesome. Very cool.
Yeah, we're done picking singers. We're terrible at it.
Okay. It works. That's awesome. What's it like? I can't remember if I asked you this last year or not. And I mean, if I did, I think it's worth resharing because not a whole lot of bands out there. When you start, I know Alter Bridge is probably one that it's the same 4 guys for the last 18, 19 years or whatever else. But to have the same 4 guys since 2000 being in the band right now, there's obviously a couple of year breaks for some of the guys here and there, but not a whole lot overall.
No.
But to have the same 4 guys for, at least since you've been releasing records 24 years longer. I mean, longer than that.
It's that to have the same 4 guys. It's definitely a rarity. Like, and that's another thing we don't take for granted. We've talked about it, together many times. Like, it's just crazy. Like it's hard to find any bands that have the same guys, like System of a Down, those kind of bands, but, and a few other bands, but it's really rare to have all the guys, and it's nice to I do the merch every day too, so I like being out with the fans and stuff. And a lot of people, they listen to us in high school. They don't know. I looked different back then too, so they don't really know. And then we go up there, and I tell them like it's all the guys, the same guys. And it's awesome to see the reaction of the fans when they're like, "Oh, it's all the same guys." And so we're lucky to have that for sure. And so I wouldn't want to play with anybody else anyway.
That's awesome. I'm glad that's been able to work out for you guys. Again, Danenberger Family Vineyards tomorrow night. Get tickets at WQLZ.com. Tim, I know I asked you last time your favorite complete albums of all time. I have a completely other random question for you today.
Okay.
We do a daily Q question with our audience every single morning there, and share their answers on the air during the morning show. What are some songs that made you fall in love with a specific band? So like for me, like the first time I ever heard One Step Closer by Linkin Park, like I was hooked right away. I'm like, yes, I love this band. Like for you, maybe what are a couple of those songs that just made you fall in love with bands?
Being an 80s dude and a metal dude, you know what I mean? It's definitely like I can remember hearing the 4 Horsemen by Metallica going, what's that? You know what I mean? I can remember hearing Pantera. I think the first one I heard was probably Cowboys from Hell, and just going, this is something different. You know what I mean? Like and but even as a kid in grade school and stuff in the 80s, I remember hearing Shout at the Devil by like Motley Crue or something, and I was just like, what is I just was like, and that's when the Walkman was a thing, you know what I mean? And so and I had 3 brothers, and we didn't have a ton of money growing up, so there'd probably be 1 Walkman or 2 Walkmans in the house. It was just we were all trying to get to that Walkman to hear the Motley Crue record, the Dawkins record. I'm dating myself a little bit here, but
that's all right.
Yeah, so it was like, Yeah, just when you hear that band for the first time, you're just like just blown away. You know what I mean? So those are some examples. For sure.
Yeah, I had a Walkman at some point. I think it was my brother's, and then it got passed down to me, and then I got a Discman. And I interviewed somebody a couple of months ago. We were talking about Discmans and everything else, and it's like I don't even think people know what the hell a Discman is today. Like I'm 37, so it's like there's probably people I'm talking to that are like, "What the hell's a Discman?" It's like you put a CD in it. Yeah, it's like you put a CD in it. It's like, it said it had anti-skip technology on it, but it didn't. It still skipped anyway. It didn't matter.
It skipped. So. Yeah, you could not walk 5 feet. The Walkman was definitely cool. I mean, I had one. I even had one in college, I think, when I was playing basketball, but had them everywhere. And it's funny, we sell CDs at our shows. Mm-hmm. They're like but everybody's all, you guys are selling CDs, like why are you selling CDs? And I'm like, it's just something small that we can sign for you guys. That's only we know you're not going to go pop it into a CD player.
That's awesome, Tim. Dude, again, man, you guys tomorrow night, Danenberger Family Vineyards. I believe show gets going about 7:00 tomorrow night. You get tickets still WQLZ.com. You can go buy tickets the day of the show as well. And I know you guys got a show tonight in Iowa. So Tim, dude, it's good to see you, man. And I'll catch you guys next time you come into town.
Thanks, Ryan, man. I appreciate everything, and I can't wait to see everybody tomorrow night. It's gonna be really fun, and as always, just come up to anybody in the bands and just say hi. We're there to hang out and have a good time.